Video tutorials by Andrew Buckle. In this tutorial I'm just going to quickly show you how you can use brushstrokes to create some interesting sort of texture designs. Now I've got some brushes here, they're available on the Graphic Extras website, and what you can do, just go over to Place, File, Place, and so there's a selection here, cutting brushes they're called. Now they're part of my free brushes range of things, so they might actually be on there, they might not be, but you can of course create very similar sort of design. So I'm just going to select one of these brushes and just click there, place. So once you've actually brought the brushing to Photoshop, now you could just use it by actually just duplicating that layer a number of times, just build up a sort of texture, but just as easy, just quickly flatten that image, and now this is what they're actually defined for. I'm just going to define them as a brush, so just select over there using the marquee tool, and then just go to define the brush set preset. So right, once you've done that, now what you can do, just going to get rid of that. Next thing, just select there and make certain you've actually got to select the right one. Just, you can see it there, there's other brushes, of course these are other Graphic Extra ones. Now set it to black and then just add the brush stroke over the document. Now one thing about the brush stroke is that you, of course at the moment it's just applied in the way that I actually created it, but you can quickly go over here to just this little control over here, the little brush control, and you can rotate it around, so you actually can change the angle of the brush strokes. And of course you don't have to go with black, you can actually just go, maybe for texture purposes, just go for grayscale, so you can actually change the colour, so you can go for apply throughout the document. Now I think once you've actually done that, and you can of course, you can apply it once, you can apply it multiple times, and I think sometimes with Photoshop it's nice to actually build up different sort of apply effects and then add some more and then apply some effects and so on and so on. So filter and blur and Gaussian blur, and then you just, so you've already created a fairly interesting unusual background already, or texture. Of course you can do that, and once you've done that you can actually just then go over, and of course you can modify the size. You don't have to go with the same size, you can actually go bigger, smaller, and I'm just going to reduce it down and then just add brush strokes. Now quite often it's interesting to actually use it with just the white, so I'm just going to go back, click to the default, and then just add white brush strokes, change the opacity as well, and that sort of gives an unusual depth to the design. And again, like I say, you can actually go then to a filter and blur, Gaussian blur, and you don't have to go with the same settings that went before, so you can just go, obviously have a really quite blurred background, then just have a slightly different blur setting, just so it's, the new ones are not so blurred. Click OK, and then finish it off with a few additional in black. And again, you can modify the angle again, just rotate that, so it's a different, creates a different, and just add it over there. Right, next thing, filter and a blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, right, so you can use more or less. And now once you've done that, you've also of course can use other effects. So you've got some sort of interesting background, interesting textures, sort of gives a very jagged, sort of unusual. You can actually just go to filter, and of course filter gallery, really quite good place to, and obviously you might have like third-party plugins, some alien skin and all those ones. So straight away you've got, click there, but you could of course go through fresco, and there's different settings within the brush as well to create some, maybe that one's not so good, plastic wrap, but neon glow. They just creates some very, right, click OK there. And of course once you've actually got that background, you can of course quickly add some text or whatever to that background.